Hello, what's up, you rude motherfuckers? Welcome back to Getting Stoked. Hi, I'm happy to have you here. If this is your first time listening to the episode, you're wonderful. I love you so much. If you're coming back, oh my god, I love you even more. Sorry, everybody else. I've got Celebration Guns on the podcast this time, and they're absolutely amazing. We open up the podcast talking about how I first met them, which is in a really crazy fun situation, and I've been catching up with them ever since. Their music is absolutely wonderful. It's two members of the band, but the other guys, I don't know, I guess they're too good for this, but it was absolutely wonderful. I had a great time. This is one of those episodes, man, where it's we're just chilling. We're just hanging out, talking, having a good time, shooting the shit. Nothing more to it than that, man. That's all it is. Just a conversation, having a great time with some great people. I hope you enjoy it. All right, welcome back to Getting Stoked. I'm here with Celebration Guns, and two members of Celebration Guns, and they're going to tell us their names. First, your name?
The name is Justin.
Justin, and your name?
I am Ryan.
Ryan, cool. Now I'm going to have to remember that, otherwise it's going to get awkward.
Should we say it dumber? Would it help you remember it?
What is the fuck is that
Slightly
supposed to
Rich
mean?
Justin.
And I'm Ryan.
Yeah, put on your radio voices. I'll put in some little drops of fart noises and stuff in the background. It'll be like morning radio. So... First of all, I have to get this out right away immediately. Two things. First of all, I'm happy to finally have you on because we've talked about it forever.
We have.
And we've been gone back and forth. And when I talked to you last, I wasn't quite ready to get back on the horse of doing the podcasting thing. Now here we are riding into glory. So I'm really, really excited to have you guys
Yeah, I was
here.
disappointed you disappeared for a couple months there because I've listened to all the episodes.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
So.
I mean, that's super awesome. Thank you so much. What happened was I was using gear that was borrowed, and the people who needed the gear or who owned the gear needed the gear back. It was as simple as that, and I just needed to get my shit together. And at the time, I was working less hours at work, so I just couldn't put down the money for equipment. And now here we are rolling in the Benjamins. So, not really, but here we are saving like an adult. So thank you guys. So secondly, how many of you are actually in the band?
There's 4.
There's 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay, who are the other 2 slouches who aren't fucking here?
They weren't fully invited to come, but they're definitely aware that we're doing this right
now. I mean,
they know about it.
Okay.
It would just be a mess if all 4 of us were here, I think.
All right.
Particularly our drummer. If the 3 of our personalities on microphones, it would just...
See wacky?
We'd be talking over each other to see who could tell the least funny joke.
And a lot of heavy sighs from me.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, Brian's got the heavy size. But now we're representing, and I guess I should let you... Did you actually... Oh, you did introduce yourself, didn't you? Did you tell us anything about yourself? I don't remember.
I play bass.
Favorite color? Play bass. There we go.
I'm
Bass
the
player. Gotcha.
I knew I recognized
Now,
you.
what do you do?
I play guitar and sing.
All right.
Yeah.
Really? You're the singer of the band?
I'm the guy.
Nice. I like your voice a lot, sir. I appreciate it quite a bit.
Thank you. I hear a lot of people say, I didn't think that voice would come out of someone who looks like you. I'll take that as a compliment.
That's kind of shitty.
Even though it wasn't meant as one, I'm going to take that as a compliment.
All right. So the other thing that I wanted to get to immediately, this is every time I think Celebration Guns, I think of this very, very specific moment that has almost nothing to do with you directly, but I'm going to share it anyway. So the band that I'm in, Phantom Party, played with you guys at a high school. I don't remember what high school it was.
Was it in Gilbert or on Greenway?
It wasn't in Gilbert, I don't think. I thought it was kind of farther out than that.
Maybe Phoenix-ish?
Phoenix-ish. Yeah, I thought it was Phoenix-ish, Scottsdale. I don't remember Desert something, maybe, high school. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I definitely remember that show.
So we played that night, had a great time, and all was well and good, but we got a little too fucking stoked, and we went behind the stage to where all of the dressing room outfits were for the plays and stuff like that. And we put on all this stuff, and then we sweated in it hard, and then we put it back.
You guys had outfits on, didn't you?
Yeah,
when you played. I totally remember that now.
Yeah, we used outfits from the dressing room in the back, and we were all trying on stuff. It was so much. Yeah, it was such a fucking.
I remember wondering why you guys were wearing it.
Yeah,
I thought it was cool, but I didn't really understand.
Yeah, we found it in the back. We were just, oh my god, this is awesome. We were just being dumb. It was super, super disrespectful. But we went through all that stuff, and then I remember as we were leaving and we had a great time and we were walking out. I forgot something in that room, and I was like, "Oh shit!" So I like snuck back in real quick, and there was like this kid putting away our sweaty stuff, just who looked fucking pissed. Like we made like really awkward eye contact, and then I just like got out of there. I was just wondering how did you guys set up? Were you because you guys headlined that show, right?
No, actually, I think you played after us.
Yeah, but you think your name was the primary name
yeah,
of the
I guess
flyer?
maybe. Yeah, I guess it probably was.
I just didn't know how that show came about. We just ended up at a high school playing this super fun show.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture the flyer in my head. I don't know. Diners played. Tyler played.
Diners played.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
And then there was like that band from the high school. And they're actually really cool.
Yeah, they did an awesome Beatles cover.
Yeah, I do remember that. Robbie from Playboy Man Baby. I
remember seeing him there.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I haven't yet to sit down and actually talk to Robbie. Like I know him-ish, and we've talked online about like booking stuff, but I've never actually hung out with him. I love his band, obviously, as you know we all do. He's amazing.
He's a good guy.
Is he?
Yeah, he put out our first cassette.
Yes, that's okay. Bert, that leads me into the next thing I was going to say. Congratulations on distribution, guys, because I see your tape and vinyl everywhere.
Yeah,
like all over record stores constantly, especially like Double Nickel up the street where I'm always going to get the records. Mm-hmm. Like I just like every time I'm anywhere, I see Celebration Guns merch. Like I just don't know how did you guys? Do you go through somebody? How did you pull that off?
I spend Saturdays going into stores and saying, "Can you take this, please?"
Nice, and
kind
that works?
of, yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
I'm like, you don't have to give us any money. Zia is a little more complicated.
I imagine.
Zia is like a whole process. Most of them, though, you can just walk in and say, "Hey, take these." Although Double Nickels, it's interesting you mentioned that because I was there a few weeks ago and our record was in the clearance bin.
Okay.
And they like had all these drawings at the top, and one of them was like, "Nobody wants us. Please take one." And I looked down, and our record's there, and I'm like,
"Oh no,
that doesn't feel good, Double Nickels."
That does not.
That is actually pretty funny.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm really I'm super excited. Like I always have this vision of you guys being like ridiculously successful because every single time I'm in record stores, I see your merch. He's shaking his head.
It's all about the vibe that you put off. I think it's funny. There's probably a lot of things I assume about a lot of different local bands and things that are not at all there, or they might not even think that at all.
I feel that way too.
Presence is good. I really hate like social media. I'm really bad at. I don't want to pester people, so I try to focus on occasional spurts of here's something important, and then of course Facebook doesn't show it to anyone, anyways.
I hate the way that they do that.
But I like taking flyers in the stores, taking our records, CDs, cassettes. I like that kind of interaction. I'd say Revolver Records is probably
Revolver's rad. There
my
used to be
favorite.
Revolver up the street, and then they moved somewhere else.
Yeah, McClintock and Southern.
Yeah,
that one was kind of cool.
That I don't know though. That okay. So it's very weird. That Revolver Records that used to be up the street, I loved because I would every once in a while find really weird punk records that I couldn't find anywhere else. Mm-hmm. But they were few and far between. Like usually I was going through there, it kind of felt like your grandpappy's record store. There was a lot of like Pablo Cruz and Herb Alpert and shit like that. And it was like, there's some cool stuff. I got some Arlo Guthrie, whatever. It's awesome. But every once in a while, and then the new releases, I found like an old Off With Their Heads 12-inch where I was like, hell yeah! Cool. Like every once in a while, you'd find stuff like that there. So it's a bummer that they moved up the street or wherever they said Phoenix, right?
Yeah, there's Phoenix and then like Thomas and 44th Street. So it's downtown and then that. Yeah.
So I want to talk about. I read today in the New Times. It's not a new article. I just Googled your name and found it. That you guys had some weird run-in with a guy on a radio show or something where he thought that you were like in with the NRA or some shit because of your name. What the fuck is that about?
Sort of that. So there's this guy Michael Feldman. He has a thing called What Do You Know?
Okay.
That was on, I guess like NPR type stations for years. Sort of like a variety show.
Okay.
And somehow they reached out to us and wanted us to play that, and it ended up being like 1,500 people in a fully lit auditorium at Chandler Center for the Arts. So like the most awkward possible scenario for a show.
Yeah.
I don't know. Playing a show in a fully lit room and seeing every single person just staring back at you is very bizarre.
Yeah.
But we were selling merch out front and it said Celebration Guns on it, so it was more so the people walking by
were
like, celebrating guns, what's that?
Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Plus, are you with the NRA?
At the time our shirts were just solid red and it just literally said Celebration Guns in big black
guns was like
font.
7 times bigger.
Yeah.
Our old drummer made that,
so you know,
so the guns focus wasn't my ideal thing.
Gotcha. I thought it was just some like, it's just from the article it sounded like it was just some crazy like
right
dude.
There were quite a few people that were like, "So you guys like with the NRA?" And they were really taken
it was
aback.
strange. It was
Really?
mostly
Like,
an
no,
older
we were
audience.
the band that played tonight. And, oh, you guys were great. Oh, it was great to see.
Yeah,
It was
I think
different
like
tone
a
once they
older
figured it out.
audience, maybe more liberal,
Yeah.
possibly.
Weird, possibly. Yeah, that's very odd. I know. I read that and I remember thinking like, that's so weird.
Yeah, we don't normally get people taking that so literally.
Yeah,
about the
especially in the
guns.
art in the Phoenix
Yeah.
art scene. I can't imagine
Right.
people being like,
I don't think
guns.
that's ever happened that I'm aware of other than there.
Yeah, that was pretty much
And that's
it.
when, and of course, that's the time that's documented.
Yeah, it was an interesting experience.
So one of the things, and I want to keep it like now, since I'm talking about that New Times article, the other thing that I read was about you trying out somebody who offered you guys pills. I really want to hear like the fully fleshed out version of the story.
First of all, I wonder if this guy's ever going to see any of this or hear this because like that New Times article
not.
came out. I'm like, if he read this, he would know it was him. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he would know it was
That
him.
was that article was
so
posted
long
like 2
ago.
years
That
ago,
was
right?
posted a year ago, and
Year
then
ago?
the tryout happened in 2013.
Oh, 2013. Fuck
Yeah,
that guy.
yeah,
Yeah,
so it's all right.
We literally saw him once.
Oh yeah,
We
yeah, he
had
did.
like 5 people try out to play guitar, and the 4th person was this, I guess, older. I mean, 10 years older than me, and I'm old. He came in and didn't really play the songs well, which was a common thread. Because I was like, hey, here's songs you need to learn. That was kind of my tryout. Like, can you play these parts? Because they're kind of weird and specifically me
Okay.
and how I write. And he kind of botched them a little bit. And then he was like, you guys want some benzos? I got some in my car. And we're like,
maybe he was trying to take
No.
the edge off the awkward experience.
and we were like, no, that's okay. Are you sure? I'm like, yeah, no, it's cool. And then I think there's probably the awkward moment where like we didn't say, well, let's see you next weekend. Like we were just kind of
Yeah.
like, all right, well, bye. Right as he walked out, our current guitarist Chris walked in the door as he was walking out, and he tried out and then just like nailed it like right after
Nice.
that. So
That's crazy.
that was that way. A Craigslist
Craigslist.
meetup.
Man, the Craigslist ones are we before the band that I'm in like got started. Like Josh and I, the singer, started it, and we were looking for drummers, and we Craigslisted it for a little while, and we got a drummer on Craigslist who like really sweet guy, really young guy. Like he was really new to it, and it got to the point where he was the only person that tried out, and it got to the point where Josh literally got behind the drum set and showed him how to play the drums right. Like he's not a drummer by any means, but he's
Right.
like, no, you play it like this, and then he forgot his cymbals, and we waited on him for like 30 minutes to go back and forth to get his cymbals. We played for like 30 minutes, and then he was gone, and we never talked to him.
It's a
after
bad
that.
job interview.
Yeah, it was rough, man. But it's awkward. Like I've accidentally invited him to events of ours before because I'm friends with him on Facebook, and like.
How do you go about that? Because I am so hesitant to bug people on my Facebook list, mostly because I really don't talk to 90% of them.
Okay.
And I'm only on Facebook to promote the band. I never post anything else. So I'm like, I don't want to bug this person because I haven't seen them in a year. I don't want to bug this person. And I'll go through and I'll just like hesitate to
Yeah,
invite
that
each
makes
person.
sense.
Or how are you? Do you just like full on invite everyone to every show?
Well,
Or?
okay, so I'm pretty liberal about the actual like Facebook invites because I mean it's just a little notification. Like they don't even have to read anything. They just see it pop
Yeah.
up and they can just dismiss it. Like and that's not. I don't feel like that's too big of a deal. Because I get those and dumber things all day long, and I don't
Yeah,
care. So
that's
whatever,
true.
whatever. If it really bothers you that much, you can make it to where people can't invite you to shit. Not a big deal. That's so I start with that, and I do that about a month and a half ish before the show,
Okay.
and then about a month ish, a little bit less than a month before the show is when I'll start going through and like. Going through to people who I think might actually be interested.
Right.
And then I ask them personally, and I personalize the message to each person. And I spend like hours sitting there and doing it. And those are really only for like when we have big either headlining or release shows. Like I'm going to be doing that for our EP release in November.
Yeah, I saw something about that. What is it? The November 4th?
November 10th.
10th.
It's Friday at the Trunk Space.
I didn't know you had I knew like the full length from a few months back, and
Yeah.
you already have something else.
Yep,
That's
completely
crazy.
different. Not surf at all. We went away.
Oh, really?
We went away from the reverb. We went away from the surf. We went away from all of it. I have it. I'll show it to you.
Yeah, I want to hear
It's
that
like
after.
more like it's still like the hooks are still poppy,
Right.
but it's very dirty and very rock and roll in comparison to this. It's all distortion and
Yeah, the main guy is named Josh.
Josh, yeah.
Yeah, Josh. He's a really good songwriter.
he's a wonderful.
Yeah.
he's a
Band
wonderful
Party's cool.
songwriter. Thank you very much.
Yep.
You guys back to you guys. Also, very, very cool. Listen to the EP today on Spotify. Really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
That opening song kicks off like a hell, like just like how anything should kick off. Like, just like, boom, it has a little bit of an introduction, a little bit of a lead in, and then right when you're comfortable, pulls the rope out from beneath you, and you're rolling. Love the hell out of that.
That was our album closer for a long time. Our very first show, way back in 2013, that was the last song we played, and it was kind of like the last song we added to the set. It was like what tied it all together. And then it stayed the last song we played in every set for at least 2 years before another song kind of took its place. But yeah, that's been like a mainstay for us. Like
we have songs that like there's like we don't know how to end our sets, or we do now, but for 2 years we didn't know how to end our sets without the same exact song. I think for every single show, end the same song and open with the same song for most of that too.
Some just suit that purpose better than others. It's just the
some
way
are
it
just
is.
perfect, like just nice little send off.
Mm-hmm.
So where did you guys record that at?
That was with Bob Hogue, Flying Blanket Studios.
Okay, I've heard of Flying Blanket, but I don't know producers too well. I don't know him.
Yeah.
What else has he worked on?
I think he did like Deer in the Headlights.
That's why I recognize. That's why I recognize the name of the studio.
Pretty
Deer
sure
in the
that's where
Headlights.
he.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And then our bassist here, Mr. Ryan Miller, he used to play in a band called Morning Maxwell years ago, and they recorded with him. And he played in a band called Neba. Although, and you guys recorded with him.
So he's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very, very cool. So what was that like? Did you? I could be wrong. I thought I remember. Maybe if it's that studio recording a lot of analog stuff. Did they do a lot of analog with you guys, or was it digital? It was analog?
Yeah, he likes to do the analog.
Okay, then it is the studio. Yeah. So I know Deer in the Headlights always did that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So what was that like? What was the recording process like with him?
I mean, it was just kind of really sucked into it. It was 2 weeks straight every single day, which you can't always do. In our last album that we've been working on, it's definitely not been that. It's been like once a week. So just went in there every day as if I was reporting for work, and I was there, every single one of the days. The guys would kind of come in and out as they needed to record their parts. And Bob and I, kind of became buddies and worked on it a lot together and to get it to sound the way that it does. And we're pretty happy with it. When I first heard it, I was like, oh, the mastering, oh, the this. Because I think sometimes when you first get your songs done, you can't stop obsessing. You can't hear it for anything different than like this mix you've been working on for
your head gets
forever.
So far into it that you have to take a few days to get
So I had to stop listening to it for a few months. But I actually, looking back on it, I think it really I think it turned out well.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you. 2 weeks is crazy for a band that's not backed by a heavy record label. That's pretty intense.
We pooled our money together for that one.
That's awesome.
We've kind of been like very specific about the way we've done finances, and in the beginning it was like, hey, we all got to pitch in our share, and eventually we found ways to make a little bit of extra money, and we've been able to kind of pay for ourselves. But we definitely look at it as much like a business as possible, just in the sense of sustaining ourselves. We don't have any unrealistic expectations of making a living off of playing music forever, but if we can just keep doing this somehow, then I'll do whatever I can think of to try to make a little money here and there. Playing the shows like that radio show thing, the Phoenix Pizza Festival.
Yeah,
we opened for Mean Girls the movie. Like literally, it was a movie in the park, and
they just had us. That sounds awesome.
They had us play under the screen, but it was like a park full of people like sitting down, and the closest people were about 50 feet out, and it was dark, so we couldn't see anyone.
Weird.
We played our songs, we would stop, and like no one would applaud. And it just felt like this big empty field.
That's weird.
So we've done some weird shows.
But we got paid, even though we had to drag our gear into
all over the place. Yeah, we made a little bit of money. It's like you kind of have to work for it. And I rarely ever expect to get paid anything at like a standard show. It's always like one of these weird events.
Yeah, I hate when the audience is far away. I mean, that's just like
it's weird.
That's why I love house shows so much, because I like breathing on, like having the audience being like right here. Like I like to be because we're a very energetic band on stage, and I like to be nervous about how energetic I should be because the crowd is so close. I like that feeling of sharing the energy with other people. Like the more you give me, the more I give back. So anytime we play on a big stage, it's like super, like we got this awesome opportunity to play the Nile, which was super fun, but at the same time I was like, you're way over there and I'm way over here and I'm way up here, and it felt like it felt more like I was putting on a show as opposed to like sharing this experience. And that's not too hippy dippy to say, you know what I mean? Like, but I can't imagine playing to people in the dark. Like you can't see.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. But I agree with you with the smaller environments. Like we played the new trunk space, and they have like 5 different spots for
Yeah,
shows.
I haven't played I haven't played that spot yet. I've only played Hope Hall and the basement. I haven't played the main room.
Yeah, I haven't. We just played one of the rooms for the first time, which was the basement. There's like a little room to the side. One time I saw they had bands crammed in this little room in there, but usually do they have it like out in the main area when you first walk in the basement?
No, it's in a little room over to your left or right.
Yeah, so they had it out in the main room.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
But it just felt intimate, and like we really just got into it because we were feeling people around us. The further away you are from the crowd, the harder it is to kind of feel engaged or like that they're really there with you, carrying it all.
Even sometimes with Rebel, like, because for some reason Rebel is not. Every time I go to a show at Rebel, I'm like, this stage is not at all tall, and I'm really close to people. But for some reason, when I'm on the stage, I don't know if it's the lights or what. It always
it's the way the room is set up.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Do you feel that way
pushes
too?
People there. That's the mason jar. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It pushes people to the front. The way the room's set up.
Okay. Gotcha. Is that where the name came from?
I don't know where the name came from, but we're definitely old because we did. Well, I don't know if did you play at the Mason Jar or did you see shows there?
I don't think
I played at the Mason Jar. It might have been 98 or 99.
Yeah.
That's what it used to be called back then, and then they closed down and for quite a few years, and then Psycho Steve bought Rebel Lounge and opened it back up. I'm not sure where the name came from, but it's a familiar spot to us, just like the Nile is.
Yeah.
In the same time frame, around like 98 or so.
Gotcha.
I was playing with pop punk ska bands at the Nile.
That's another question I was going to ask you guys was what's your varied musical history like? Because I have only been in the scene since 2015, so I'm like still super fresh.
Yeah,
like, I played in a band. Man. I played in a band in 2011, just like a garbage pop band, not a pop punk band or a pop rock band, but like a Go Radio Maine bullshit
like
band.
You were wearing headsets and stuff.
Like no, but it was a band, but it was just very formulaic, kind of like the Maine kind of music that I didn't like. I just wanted to be in a band really bad, and it's a good thing that I did because that's where I met Josh, and here we are. So, but like, anyway, I haven't really been in it since like 2015, so I don't know any of your guys's. I know some bands from before that time, like Dr. Bones and some of the other cool bands that were around, but I don't know a lot. So what were you guys up to?
So in like 96, I started trying to play in bands. Since then, I've played live in at least 20 bands. I don't really count bands that don't actually ever play a show, even though I've been in one who recorded music but still never played a show.
I don't count that either.
Yeah, that doesn't count though. So about 20. It definitely started with like punk, more so on the pop punk side of things, So I did a few bands in high school like that, and then.
Sorry, my dog's wagging her tail against the.
I love that your dog's name is Daisy because I have a dog named Daisy too.
Yeah, right.
But throughout high school, it was kind of pop punk ska type of thing, and we hung out in the same. We actually met in high school, so it was probably like 97. In our biology class, and we just got kicked out of class a lot for being loud and like probably having ADD or some other kind of issue that let us just shout things out the entire class.
Yeah.
But that's when we met, and soon after high school, I ended up playing in a band with Ryan here, kind of like more pop punk emo. So this was like 2002 when that was like kind of still like hadn't died yet before then it came back a few years ago.
It came. Well, yeah. So then it came back around like 2006, 2007 when the Victory Records thing started to happen. That's when I got into. When I first got into emo, it was like Hawthorne Heights and Silverstein.
Yeah, and I never counted any of that.
No. Yeah, and most people didn't. But when I was in fucking junior high, that's what I did.
Yeah.
And then I got older, and I was like, oh, fucking Sunny Day Real Estate and Mineral and all that stuff later. But at the time, I just knew all of the really girly tight pants at Treyu kind of shit, and I was into that for a winter. And then it died off.
Well, even though I have an opinion about what's emo and what's not, I definitely know that we were not really emo. I was influenced by it, like Jimmy Eat World's Clarity.
Yeah.
That was a huge one for me. And there's this band, the Juliana Theory, that actually used to be legit and turned into something really ridiculous.
like TSOL.
Just like goofy rock. Like he did wear headsets at shows, which I thought was weird. Even though our drummer was always like, wear a headset. And I'm like, we're not that kind of band. Not gonna happen.
Like a headset, like a monitor?
Yeah, well, like a one like
you mean like the microphone.
An earpiece.
The microphone
earpiece,
was
like
Ricky Martin.
It doesn't work out right if you're playing in like a rock band.
Well, I have a question for you, since you guys know way more than I do about how things are done. Okay, earpieces. Right, you want to wear an earpiece like an in-ear monitor, right?
Right.
In-ear monitor. Does that work for house shows? Is that something you should have for a house show, or is that overkill for a house show?
That's when our drummer should have been here, because he would just say you need it for every show.
You need it for every show? Is that what he says?
Every waking moment.
I mean, that's kind of responsible.
No, but
though.
like he'd be someone good to talk to about that. But
Okay.
I don't know
Never
how
mind.
necessary they are.
I was having an argument with someone the other day because I saw someone playing a house show with an in-ear monitor, and like the part of me, like the reptilian brain part of me was like, the fucking pretentious ass. What are you doing with an in-ear monitor at a house show? But then I was like, you know what? Maybe he can actually hear what he's doing.
Yeah, it's a really dumb thought, but that's probably what I would have thought too.
Yeah.
But it's like not very fair. And
Yeah, I
it
agree.
probably is good. And my drummer has a point that I probably could hear myself sing better and, hit those few notes, just a few.
I agree.
That I miss at each show.
That's what I
if
figured.
have
I've
it.
never used one, so I don't exactly know what they can do. I just know that I've never seen them.
They
in a
can
small
make
venue.
you look really cool on stage in front of people. That's mostly what they can do.
That's what I was about to say. Or like either really, yes. We'll leave that there.
So we cut out of where the story got more
Sorry,
embarrassing with my
continue.
music history because then I went through my metalcore phase,
Ooh.
which anyone who knows me now probably can't picture that.
What are your
but
influences at that time?
Oh man, I liked The Haunted and At the Gates, which I think are like the same.
At the Gates
dudes.
were the shit, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever hear their band The Haunted? I think it's a
Uh-uh.
couple of the dudes. I think, and then Children of Bodom, because I just
Yeah.
really like goofy video game type metal. Every Time I Die,
I
Last
love-
Night in Town that album was so good. I didn't even follow them after that. It was just that first,
Really?
maybe
See,
their first album.
I really like The Big Dirty. And I think that's like the really popular one, but it's
heard
just,
it.
that's the one that I think it's their third album. And it's just like dirty. It's very like has that southern edge to it.
Yeah,
It's
it
really
does. It does,
wild.
and I like that, and that kind of influenced the way I played. The only other band back then was Converge, Jane Doe.
Yeah.
That album was awesome. So I did that for 3 or 4 years, and just met a bunch of meatheads, and there was like a 24 straight edge crew that wanted to kick my ass at one point or another, and because I had a loud mouth and because I had an opinion about like, hey, because that dude got mad that you were windmill kicking into him, you didn't have to beat him into the ground until his eye fell out of his socket, which by the way is a true story that happened at Rebel Lounge / Mason Jar back then.
Damn.
Yeah, so it was like on the azpunk.com message board, which I think is still around.
The forums.
And I was like, hey, maybe the spin kicking idiot could have watched out for the older dude who's just standing there with his arms folded watching the band, not knocked into him, expect him not to get mad, but they were like, you're out of the scene. Like, they're like,
you're
kicking me out of the
been
scene.
exiled.
Like, you better watch yourself. I'm like, all right. So I had to get out of that meathead thing.
Are shows still like that? Are metal shows still like that? Because I haven't really gone to any.
Luckily, I just haven't been to many of them.
Me
Our
neither.
friend's
I hope
band, Flying Scorpion, plays like fun, catchy metal. That's as metal as I usually get these days.
When I played the underground and I walked upstairs back when you like still could before they blocked it off at the bottom. You could like creep up the stairs to the Nile because I guess that used to be the green room for the Nile. With the underground was the green room. So I remember like we were playing downstairs, and this was back when I was in that shitty pop band in 2011. And we were playing, and there's a bunch of like girly pop rock bands playing, and Whitechapel, Chelsea Grin, and Vale of Maya are playing upstairs. So in between every song, there's just like an earthquake from like up. So basically, there was like this guy playing acoustic guitar, and he was like singing these like sappy love songs. It's like from like above, it's like shaking.
Dude, I didn't know any of those bands you mentioned, but then I realized on one of your episodes you talked about, is it Chelsea Grin?
Chelsea Grin.
Grin.
G-R-I-N.
And I went and listened to it. So actually I remember you talking about
Yeah, I probably talked about this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And what's really funny is I just saw Single Mothers and Touche Amore and Gouge Away at the Underground. And pro wrestling was happening upstairs. And that was awesome because in between songs you could hear the ka-chunk of the
Like,
yeah, it was super cool. Like, hit him.
Touche Amore is cool. I was just listening the other day.
Yeah, I'm not a big Touche Amore fan, but I'm like a absolutely killer Single Mothers fan. So that was
Mothers.
really good. And now I'm really into Gouge Away, the openers. They blew me away. I love when that happens. Like I did no idea who they were, and I left the same way I left the AJJ show. Like, I got exactly what I wanted from the headliner, and the openers absolutely blew me away. So it's nice when that happens.
it's a success.
So what happened after Metalcore? Where'd you go from there?
After Metalcore, which I was in some cool band with titles like Dead Rose Orchestra.
Oh,
that
there
was
you
a
go.
real band name.
Okay.
The Divide wasn't that crazy, and then Last 10 Minutes. I guess based on a Cannibal Corpse song called My Last 10 Minutes, where some guy like kills everyone around him in the last 10 minutes of his life.
Last 10 minutes.
So we're like, that's metal.
That's so fun.
But I had to be done with that. So then it was like a kind of a post-punk, dance punk thing.
Okay.
Played in a few bands like that. It's a band called Machines Replacing Teens.
Okay.
Which I don't know if that's a good or a bad name, but it seemed cool at the time. It's a little iffy. And then I did a band that had trash cans for drums. A lot of this was playing bass. Bass is in a weird way almost something I love playing more than guitar, which is what I do now. But yeah, trash cans for drums and a bunch of craziness. And then I was in this indie band called Wizards of Time for a long time.
Okay, now I'm starting to come. Now that sounds familiar. Yes, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot more. There's a lot more weed smoking that got done in that band than really anything
with
else.
a name like Wizards of Time, you surprised me.
Yeah, so it was that was kind of one reason it wasn't the best experience on my end, anyways. And I was kicked out. That's the only band I've been kicked out.
Really?
Yeah, because I was like trying to get them to play some show, and they're like, that's not really our scene. And I was like, dude, we just paid however much to record our album. We went and recorded with this dude, Scott Salter, who he tracked St. Vincent and this band, the Mountain Goats. He's done all their albums.
I know the Mountain Goats. All their albums?
I think like a lot of them.
Yeah.
And this dude, John Vanderslice, which you probably never heard
Mountain
of.
Goats is hard for me because they're like first half of their career, their music is they recorded like I'm like lo-fi and all that, but the first like half of their discography, I'm just like I can't fucking do this. Like, sorry, like
yeah, they're hit or miss for me, but the guy's a really good songwriter
completely.
and lyric writer, and it kind of reminds me of the Weaker Thans, which I
love the Weaker Thans.
I love the Weaker Thans. Yeah, for sure.
Wonderful one. I love the Weaker Thans. Frank Turner got me into the Weaker Thans.
Oh, really?
I'm a big Frank Turner guy. So they're because Weaker Thans singer's name is. What's this,
John?
Yeah, I was about to say John something. He's a
Yeah.
wonderful, amazing songwriter. His solo stuff is also really good.
So yeah, Wizards of Time. That's it goes down history as the band I was kicked out of, and it's kind of fun to look back on. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do something completely different. So I played in a band called Weird Ladies, which was back to like weird shouting post-punk, dance punk stuff. And then at the same time, I started playing this band called Come On Die Young, which was like, I don't know if you listen to like Hot Water Music.
Yeah, I love how Chuck Reagan's amazing.
Very, very similar to Hot Water Music. Like I did some of the singing like that.
Yeah.
With like the low growly. Yeah, a lot of that stuff. And then in 2012, I met up with these dudes on Craigslist, this guy Tim and the guy Eric, which was perfect. To remember because of the show.
Eric, yep.
We jammed and just kind of didn't do too much for about a year, but just hung out and had fun and tried to play like post-rock type stuff. And then Eric bailed out, and me and Tim were like, well, we still want to play music. So I had these garage band demos that were kind of like dream pop, shoegaze type stuff. And I was like, if nothing else, we can just make these into songs. But we need a good bassist. Not saying I'm a good bassist, but I definitely wrote weird, tricky stuff that not anyone could play that easily. So we got this guy, and since I'd known him for so long, that was easy. He's a shoe-in. And then that's when we started trying out like guys who offered us drugs and stuff, and came up with our guitar player. So
that's
Craigslist
wonderful.
Started it and then ended it.
That's
kinda.
awesome.
So that's like kind of the transition into Celebration Guns. And the first thing I did really in the band was hit up Robbie from Rubber Brother and say, hey, I know you do a lot of more like garage punk or more like unique sounding stuff in some ways than what we do. But, if you want to put us out, like we're into it. And so, which doesn't really entail much other than him just being like, yeah, we'll dub some tapes for you. It's not like we're like, well, here's the signed contract.
Well, of course
with Rubber
not,
Brother. Yeah. But
what happened? Is Rubber Brother not a thing anymore?
Yeah, I think he kind of stopped doing it. I don't know if that means he never will again, but he hasn't done anything with it in a couple of years. But that was really cool. He put out that first EP and he ended up putting out a couple splits.
That was Quitter, right?
That was Quitter. Yep. And so Quitter is basically just all me doing demos on GarageBand. Somehow that was enough to be released. But then you could just say it's lo-fi. That's it's perfect, right?
Including the drum parts.
Drum parts, yeah. So I would take the GarageBand drum loops and just include them in the song, like that's on the tape. So I mean, I don't know if that's weird to admit or if it's just whatever. Because
it's whatever.
I kind of presented to him like,
songs,
I'm like, this is what it is, man. These are my
whatever.
demos. If you want to put them out, like
This is the raw Justin Jimmy mix.
and it kind of worked. But
songs.
we've changed a lot since then. And we did have someone in Texas who ordered that tape, the Quitter tape, the other day, and he was like, I really think you guys should go back to how you sounded during Quitter. I'm like, I don't want to tell you this, but that was just me. Like that's not. It's not going to be like that.
There's like a certain quaintness to the way that all of that sounds. It sounds almost more appropriate than the way we play them live if we were to.
Yeah, like those old songs. We don't play
Yeah.
too many of them live. But yeah, so we had that, and then we went on and decided to try to record ourselves. And we did what's basically our lost EP. It's called Bright Enough. I tried to record it.
Is that an EP?
It's an EP. Yeah, there's 7 songs on it. I call it an EP. Let's not get into semantics.
If, it's if this is the 1980s, one more song and you've got a full length.
Yeah,
so
how
8
long is
songs.
it?
We're pretty close, but we did such a terrible job recording it. It sounded horrible. We did release
We
it.
put so much time into it.
We did put a
though.
lot of time into it. You know, we released like 100 CDs. They're done. I just took it offline. I'm like,
And there's
that
good
didn't
songs
happen.
on there too.
There are.
They're
There
just
are
not
really.
well
It's
recorded.
very like. I hate using math as the term, but that has entered in and out of our sound a few times. Like, I don't know if you would have really heard that a lot on me that used to be, but on this Bright Enough thing, that was like all over the place. Everything was just nuts.
Yeah, recording yourself was, we did that for the full length, and I am like really ridiculously overwhelmed or underwhelmed with how that turned out. It was one of those things where, like, it was okay. So first of all, we didn't have the money to record in a studio. Number one main thing.
Yep.
Other thing was these were all old songs. Every single song on our first album, or our only album really, they're all songs that we've been playing for at least a year and a half. There's like 2 new ones, which are the ones that are the best recorded because we're the most stoked about them.
Right.
And
You
everything
can hear
else
it.
was like fucking there's 2 songs, Tunnel of Love and Gypsy were the only 2 that were brand new, and those were like what I consider to come out the best. Everything else was like, we should probably release these because these are good songs and whatever. Which is why with the new one, these songs were new, and we're like, okay, let's record them now. We've got to go now while we still enjoy them, while we still like them. And plus, the other big thing we did wrong, we recorded the whole thing with headphones. We did not have monitor speakers.
Oh.
So we mixed and recorded and mastered with headphones.
Headphones are too flattering.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If you listen to the album on headphones, it sounds like fucking awesome.
Oh, I bet. Most of them do.
But if you hear, I remember playing through this car stereo and my home stereo and being like, what the fuck is this?
I didn't pay for this.
I hate that's what we're going through right now because we actually are finishing up a full length that we're probably going to release in the spring.
I was going to ask about that.
We've been working on it for a long time. It's kind of a strange story how we started it. We lost our original drummer, which was the dude that basically I started Celebration Guns with after that like first Craigslist practice bass band that we had. Mm-hmm. And then we got a new drummer, which is Dude We've Known Forever, PJ. And within the first 3 months of him being in the band, I was like, all right, here's 2 things that are going to happen. We're going to open for Explosions in the Sky at the Marquee. I know you only know 2 of our songs so far, but you're just going to play those, and then our other drummer is going to play the rest.
Wait, did that happen?
That happened.
You guys open for Explosions in the Sky? That's fucking wonderful.
We found out 2 weeks after our drummer quit, and he didn't quit on the best of terms. Like, we weren't all feeling too great about everything, but Explosions is like his favorite band. And then they're like, you guys want to open for Explosions? I was like, I don't want to ask him. He doesn't deserve it.
He had already played his like
he played his
final
last show.
with us.
And so we were like, we have to do it. Like, we can't make this work without him. So
Like, we know you're gonna say yes.
So we want to introduce our new drummer. So I'm
Thank
like,
you.
dude, we've only been jamming for a month, but you're going to be playing at Marquee in front of however many people. And good luck with that. And then a month after that, we're going to start recording the first 3 songs of our album.
I remember that show, actually. I
Yeah?
almost went to that show. That
Yeah.
was last year, right?
Yeah, last August.
Yeah. I was going to go to that, but then I was like, do I really like them that much? No, I don't.
It's kind of expensive, I guess.
steep.
But
Yeah, well, it was one of those things. I like one album, and then that's it. I'm really basic. I'm a casual when it comes to Explosions in the Sky.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're great, but I've never really. Post rock is one of those things that I've never truly gotten hardcore into. I really like it for atmospheric moments, or if I'm driving at night in a specific mood, or if I want something in the background. But I can never just sit down and vibe to it, just listening to it by itself. Which
I
is what
agree
divides.
100%. And I
Yeah.
feel like I shouldn't say that. Like, I'm supposed to think it's awesome. But, like, I guess I need vocals or I need something to kind of mix it up.
Yeah.
I'll listen to instrumental music, which I can't even think of an example. Maybe L1011. That kind of just keeps it mixed up the whole time, and it's rat-a-tat kind of like it's changing. Like, parts are changing. The ones that the parts repeat for like over and over and over again. That's when I'm like, I can't do it.
Yeah,
some
the
people like that,
repetitiveness.
but I don't know if you notice with our music, but we tend to kind of be all over the place.
That's good.
Not a lot of
It's
repeating
colorful.
stuff in it.
I can do some repetitive music. Like, my favorite album that I consider to be very repetitive is Swan's Filth. Like, Swans are amazing, and that album, like, the main guy that orchestrates all of it, Michael Gira, said that he liked the idea of standing in a room full of sledgehammers. And that's exactly what it sounds like. It's just
Wow.
dark, and I've always described it as if they find a brooding serial killer on death row who's just like, who just wants to fucking maim and die and whatever, and you plug a 1/4-inch cord into his bloodstream, you'll hear that record. Like, it's
Wow.
just fucking really bludgeoning
Well,
and dark.
that's another band. We all have hundreds of these bands, but that's another one where I'm like, I'm gonna give him another try someday. Like I've tried 3 or 4 times,
I have so many bands
and
like
I
that.
think I do like it, but not enough to keep listening.
Mm-hmm. It's just that album for me. They have so much work that I can't even like.
There's
I like
a
this
lot.
one.
Yeah.
It's like I found that one. I like it. And I'm holding on to that one. There's too much other music I need to get to. I can't go through every one of your 4-hour records.
Right.
But I'm like that with Radiohead. I can't get into Radiohead.
I never did. I'm glad there's someone else.
Yeah,
Maybe did you talk about that in another episode?
I might have.
Maybe because I remember relating to that.
Yeah, I like the bends. If I'm stoned, that's about it really for me. I can't dig them. I don't know. People always give me shit for that.
And Rainbows is good if you're really depressed as fuck.
I should get in Rainbows. I like that kind of music. You know what though? I heard that In Rainbows was an album that not enough people talk about how good it is. Like I remember Anthony Fantano saying that that's one of his favorites, but no one expects it to be like anyone's favorite.
I heard you mention Anthony Fantana today, and I realized I
love
have
him.
no idea who that is. I thought you were talking about Anthony. Is it Fama?
Oh, Anthony Fama. I love him
That's
too.
who I thought you were talking about. So I'm like, what? Why is there controversial opinions about Anthony Fama? But Anthony Fantana, I don't know who that is though.
He's the music reviewer for his channel called The Needle Drop, and he's like he's the most popular music reviewer on YouTube.
I never even look at YouTube music reviews. That's interesting.
I like it. Yeah, he's been doing it for years. Anthony Fama though, like I love him. Dr. Bones Redemptions.
Yeah, that was
fucking love that guy.
episode was a trip.
Oh my god, yeah, it was. It was a trip. I want to have another 4-hour conversation and foray into madness with that guy. Every single time I see him, I just love the hell out of him.
Yeah,
so,
he's a character.
So wacky. So you mentioned you're putting on an LP. I wanted to ask a question about this. What do you guys think about LPs versus EPs as far as releasing them? There's certain bands I know, like Paper Foxes is a great example, who I remember talking to CJ once, and he said that they are, and I could be totally, like, maybe they've changed their opinion on this. Sorry if I'm throwing CJ under the bus. I feel like I remember him saying that instead of putting out an LP, they're just going to put out multiple EPs and keep interest and keep moving. And what do you guys think about that as an idea?
You know, I absolutely know that us doing an LP, 75% of it is for us. Like, there's not a huge demand for us to do an LP. Now, like, you know, Mitchell Hillman, if he ever writes about us, he'll say, I've been telling these guys to do an LP. Of course, there's going to be those occasional people who say you need to do one, and it's very important.
I'll do literally anything Mitchell Hillman tells me to do on any day of the week. It doesn't matter, like, if I agree with him or not.
Yeah.
Like, his opinions will become my opinions because I fucking respect that guy.
But it's like been a goal of ours. You know, we've done a total of 3 EPs. There's Quitter, and then there's the Lost EP, and then, which I think is cool that we have a Lost EP now that I think about it. And then there's the one you listen to, The Me That Used to Be. That's the most recent one. And I just felt like, okay, now let's do a full length. And maybe I kind of forced it, but we ended up with 10 songs that we all like. Like, it's not like I was like, I for a second I was like, hey, let's make this one work. There was one we tried to make work, and we're like, no, that's not going to happen. So, but yeah,
It's not like there's a shortage of material.
Yeah, I probably have like 30 fully written demos that like we could learn at any point. But then I'll write something I like better, and then those are kind of in the dust. So there's always something that we could be working on. But I think it's mostly for us, but also for anyone who ever wanted to just hear us put a little more out there. There's a kind of an odd spread of music throughout. Like, it's not all the songs sound anywhere near the same, like, to us. Although we thought that about The Me That Used to Be, and we did have one review that said that our songs kind of all sounded the same, which I don't know if I agree with, but I know them too well.
Yeah.
But I think this album, definitely no one can say that.
That's awesome.
Kind of all over
I'm stoked
the board.
for that.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of married to the LP. Like, there's an art to an LP. Like, you're putting someone through an experience, and sure, you can do that with an EP too. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just like stuck in my ways. Like, I feel like when people talk about like, no man, the future of music is singles and EPs. I feel like a crotchety old man who's just like, fuck that, man. Like, an LP, like, full length album. It's supposed to be a 45-minute experience, 30 to 45-minute experience. But
yeah, I mean, I guess some people do the, like, you know, just capitalize off of the short attention span of today. And I remember someone, I don't even want to name, but somebody was going on a rant who kind of knows their stuff, who was like, you know, all that really matters is like rap artists who just do the single here and there. You know, they make so much money, like that's the way to do it. And the person literally like went off about how full length albums were worthless. And we had just started working on ours. He's like, local bands don't need to release full length albums. I'm like, yeah, I guess we should write some crap hip hop song and like really push to get that famous
really
because there's like some dumb line in there that's like repetitive.
There you go.
And I'm not putting down rap, but I'm putting down the idea of like a culture of like, let's just put out some crap that's just gonna like rise to the top in like a day, and that's our goal. Like I don't like how much effort really goes into that. Like how much actual thought. I don't like that. So the thought of like that's the way to go versus doing a full length. No thanks. I'll bore everyone with 10 songs.
Especially if you're a passionate songwriter, like the songs are going to come out of you regardless. You might as well like organize them here and there as opposed to releasing one song when you've got like an entire rogues gallery of songs left that you want to release.
Yeah.
Like why not just put that out there and keep your train from backing up? You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, there's strategies to things, and we have gone back and forth on being strategic. In some ways we are, but in some ways we're just like, let's just play this random show that we've already have too many shows booked. Let's just do it, or let's put out this or that, and like no one's really asking for it, but it's like fun.
Yeah.
And I think the best way to keep people
play.
engaged, Ryan just wants to play, so he doesn't care about any of this.
Yeah.
I've basically been band manager from day one, and
Me too.
it's so you know how that goes, and it's a lot, and it's a lot of. This will be awkward if this ever happens between our bands, but there's a lot of like, oh, like we can't play that show, bro. Like a drummer is like going skiing that weekend, you know?
No, I totally understand that. We burnt ourselves out on shows. I mean, not really. We still love playing shows, and we want to play shows as much as humanly possible. But like what happened was our first year, we played almost 50 shows, which is a lot. In 12
I remember
months.
you saying that. And
Yeah.
in 12, that's like basically a show every week.
Yeah,
It sounds
and after that, it was like, okay, we need to make the special again, and we kind of have. But now we're at the point where and this sucks. We're at the point now where if we play too much, then we won't draw, and I hate that because I just want to play all the time.
I absolutely agree. You have to think about your draw, and that's something my friend Josh Rodriguez, who I was working on, I guess the current label I'm doing, and the previous one, St. Joseph, we started together. I have his advice running through my head. I've known that guy since 2004. We played in one of our metalcore bands, and he's always told me like, don't book a show 2 nights in a row, 2 places. Like, don't book too many shows. Like, be respectful. Think about how, and that's been my philosophy. So I end up getting irritated when I see bands do things like booking a show 2 nights in a row. I'm like, you're gonna lose the draw. Yeah, like I mean, like none of us really bring 500 people to every show. Most of the local bands I know and ourselves, we're not bringing a ton of people. So it's like you do have to spread it out. I feel dumb playing a show once a week. To me, that's even just like it's too much.
Yeah.
If you want people to, like you said, you use the word special. That's perfect. If you want anyone to feel like what you're doing is at all special or interesting or theirs, then don't just put it out there all the time to everyone and play every show. Like it's not gonna feel the same. So we try to be more strategic, and sometimes it's tough because, as you know, so many cool shows will come up at once, and you're like, we have to do all of those. But I definitely don't want to play 2 in a row.
Talked about let's change our name and play lame covers at bars that pay you a lot of money, and then funnel all of that money back into the Fan and Party Fund. Which is something that, like, because I remember hanging out with my girlfriend, and she saw this ad that was like, oh, yeah, you can come play this fucking bar and grill I've never heard of for an hour and a half and make like $260 playing covers. And I was like, fuck me. Like, let's just do that. Let's just like play fun, stupid covers and make that money. Just right there, you've got like multiple days of recording.
Yeah, it's
like,
way easier to make money with covers. I mean,
I hate it. I hate cover bands, and I hate.
I don't like
bands,
it, and
like,
we only do 2 covers, and no one's ever gonna have heard of any of them. So it's just the way it is. Like we never have learned a cover to be like, hey, I think the people in the crowd are gonna be bobbing their heads to this. It's just like that's not gonna happen.
We did covers in the beginning because our set wasn't long enough. Like
yeah, I've been there before over the years. Yeah, for sure.
Like we played "Tired of Sex" we almost played "Tired of Sex." We played "Just Like Heaven," I think, by The Cure.
Oh, I would have liked to hear that.
With we had a guitar player who played 2 or 3 shows with us in the very beginning, our first 3 shows ever, and he sang those. And then there was another cover too. I can't remember. Every once in a while, though, like we played this crazy house show in a trailer, and we pulled out "Damn It" from Blink-182
inside of a trailer.
Yeah. Okay. So it's in Apache Junction.
Now I get it.
Opening, yeah. In Apache Junction, opening for Good Grief's album release show for Run for Your Life, who are love and they're wonderful people. Guys,
were they on on your show?
They
am
were
I confusing.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, they were. It was
did
them.
they talk about recording out in that trailer and like
yes,
the guy's dad got it for graduation or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounded cool.
Yeah,
so a trailer, I picture like it's on wheels and it's like a manufactured home.
It's literally it's not like a cool double wide that looks like a house.
Yeah.
It's a rectangular box that has an air conditioner at the end, and that's it. Like it's
and they
just
do
a
music
trailer.
stuff in there all the time.
Yeah, it's
that's
like,
amazing.
It's
I
like,
want one of those.
It's like a trailer that you would see like on construction sites that they like had that they.
Oh,
work
I get what you're
of.
saying.
Yeah,
like they're the office.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like that. And so we played a show in there, and it was us, Erico, and Good Grief, and for some reason, like because the crowd was you could tell like there was a very kind of pop punk crowd. Like I could see their T-shirts, and I could tell by the posters on the walls what their audience was. So like all of a sudden, Josh just and I was like, oh shit, no. I don't know if I totally know this song. But that's kind of fun every once in a while to throw in something fun and crazy. But we fucking ruined their foundation in that trailer.
Oh wow! From that show?
Yeah, because I got because every once in a while, if I get really stoked, I like there's certain beats and songs where I'll kick the floor really hard, like on the beat, just because I don't know, I just get too excited. And when they played after us, like they mentioned that there's a dip.
Well, also you're not mentioning back then you're 250 pounds heavier, so like that was different, right? Every stomp was like goboo.
Yeah,
in the foundation.
Yeah, it was crazy. That trailer was a lot of fun, but a lot of sweaty. So, what do you guys feel about tour? What are your opinions on tour?
We don't succeed at it.
Okay.
That's
who does though in a local
financially
band?
Or
what do you mean by succeed?
Well,
emotionally or financially?
As in doing it at all.
Okay, got
That's how we don't succeed. We don't make connections. Like that's something I'll be the first to admit. Even though I know you're supposed to do this, we got to a point where touring bands would hit us up and be like, "All right, man, I got this for you. Tuesday night at the Rogue. You guys are gonna headline, bring all the people. We're coming in from San Antonio, and we'll totally hook you up." And after a while, I was like, we can't do it anymore. Like, because we can't guarantee we're going to bring people to that, like on a Tuesday night at the Rogue. And again, like we also have our strategy, and we're like trying not to play too much.
I've had a lot of rough Tuesday nights at the Rogue.
Yeah, and I have over the years too. But at a certain point, I was like, well, we got to think about like what are we doing? You know, if we do that and then we don't bring people, it just looks stupid, and it kind of makes us feel down on ourselves.
Totally agree.
So we haven't done well with connecting with bands from other states and then being like, all right, now we're going to come out your way. Our friends in Twin Ponies, I've been really proud of them because they just went out on a tour.
I'm going to try to get them on.
Yeah, you absolutely should. They're fun guys.
Are they cool?
They are. We've known them for a really long time. So the funny thing about them is, now I'm just going to spoil their podcast.
Go ahead. Fuck it. Let's do it now. 2
of them moved here from Yuma in like 2005.
Okay.
So they had a band out there, and they were like, let's do it in Phoenix instead. So around that time, they met like Ryan, in a band he was playing in, and then I kind of met him through that. So maybe I guess it was like 2007. I met Wayne, who's the singer, and Phil, and we've been buddies ever since. And our bands have played together and stuff. Our very first show was at one of their EP release shows, but their strategy was they made sure to help out bands that came through from other states, and now. I'm watching all of them on Snapchat. It's funny to follow like 3 guys in a band on Snapchat because you get different perspectives of what's happening. But they're going all over the East Coast and they're getting like places to stay. They're getting shows with like good lineups. I mean, it worked out. So I think for touring, the big thing probably is that you do need to make those connections with touring bands and stay in touch with them. And that's the thing that's happened to us a million times. Like we play with bands and they're like, you guys are the greatest, man. We'll definitely play together. And then I don't make a point to follow up with them because I'm not good at that kind of stuff really. And I just feel like they're going to know my motives are kind of fake. And I'm really bad at that, like trying to balance being like Mr. Promoter of the band guy and then being like genuine, which it's basically
fake
impossible.
Isn't what? Like fake like we want to play with
fake,
you?
Like, you guys are real neat, you know? Like, we really want to go out to San Antonio.
You don't have to lay it on that thing like, let's do it.
The Lone Star State. Yeah, we'll be there. Like, I don't know how to make that kind of like small talk. And I'm like, they'll know that I'm just like being an idiot. So we've been bad at that, but it's worked for them. So I'd say talk to them about tour because they know what they're doing. They bought a van. They did the whole thing. We here's us on tour.
Okay.
We took the money we made from our release show last year, and we went out for 5 days. We only played shows on 2 of the 5 days. So we played in Oakland and we played in Portland, and then two of the guys in the band flew home 2 days early. So me and Ryan drove the van back from Portland. It was like, that's not a tour. That's just stupid. But we were like, we just want to do it just to do it. But we don't really know what we're doing with that. We've gone to San Diego, and I'm not good at touring. It's something we need to work on. Absolutely.
I love being on the road, but I hate leaving. Like I hate being like I like the road and I like touring a lot and I like playing with other bands and I hang out with other bands and I like playing shows and I think that the road is the great teacher. I think it shows you a lot.
Yeah, you learn a lot.
And I feel I like the need to have to prove myself all the time. Like I don't like just sitting around and whatever. I like having to constantly move and challenge myself and prove myself that because my self-esteem is such shit that I have to constantly validate myself by strangers' opinions.
Well, you know what? Actually, there should be a chance for Ryan to say something because he has toured and like the Warped Tour thing. Tell him about like he's in this band called Morning Maxwell and they had a strategy. What would you guys do? Just talk.
We just toured. We toured and tried to sell stuff.
But what they did is they followed Warped Tour to every date, and they weren't on the Warped Tour, but they would set up a tent outside, and they'd play to people walking in, and then they'd go up to people with CDs for $1, and they sold like hundreds and hundreds of them.
It was back in the day before other bands had already been trying to do that.
Talk on the mic a little bit more.
Yeah, this was.
Yeah. I want to hear this.
There was no one else around that was really doing that. Maybe a couple other people. So
Yeah, it was like 1974, right?
We got kind of signed up and told that we would be accommodated by the people we were working with at the time, and then showed up in Kansas, and we weren't being accommodated. My first show ever with Morning Maxwell was in the parking lot of a Warped Tour, and the security guards were like, "Hey, you can play out here, I guess. Like, no one knows why you're here or who you are, but you can play here, I guess. But like, be gone by the time gates close." Or we're coming back with bats. So we started. You know, we're playing our set. This is my first set ever with this band. This is Morning Maxwell. Andy Delton
You jumped in
taught
for
me
Andy.
how to play bass.
Yeah.
Essentially. So I'm like filling the shoes of my bass player idol at this point. And first show ever. And we get through like 6 songs, and then they show up in golf carts with baseball bats, and like you guys got to go now, and no one knows who you are. But it was really just like a guerrilla kind of like, we're going to make this happen and stick headphones on people. But nowadays that doesn't really work so well.
Yeah, so you'd walk up to them with a Discman. And
Yeah.
you would put the headphones
Yeah.
on.
You
and
wanna
go,
buy
"Listen,
this
I forgot about
the
that."
Cake music video for fucking short skirt long jacket is literally them just giving people headphones.
Yeah. Do you want to buy? It's $1. It's $1.
That's awesome.
There's 22 bands on here.
I think there's a work ethic there that I really like,
too.
but sometimes I wonder,
It's not
with the
realistic.
way things are today, like if any of that means anything. Like
I've
how
seen
hard
people
they work.
for an
hustling.
adult.
I've seen people hustling CDs, but they fuck you because they go, "Oh yeah, I remember we're handing out CDs," and you take it and like, "Thanks, man." And they're like, "Oh, we need donations." Okay,
Yeah,
so you're selling CDs. Let me know that ahead of time so that I don't embarrass both of us.
Right, yeah, I'd have to hand it back to you.
Yeah, so it's like, "Oh, never mind. I don't actually care." Here you
Yeah,
go.
awkward.
But luckily now I have the internet and I can literally just if your band's not on Spotify, it's on Bandcamp. Hopefully, I don't know any bands who only use SoundCloud. Thank God. I think that's
Oh,
more.
I don't like SoundCloud.
I hate
I'm glad
SoundCloud.
that they switched to where you could listen in the browser. Because for a
Mm-hmm.
while it would say open an app, and you click that, and it goes to the app, and then it just goes to the home screen, and you're like, and then you go try to search for the song, and you can't even find it in the results. I'm like, this is the
Yeah.
worst app ever.
I hate
And they almost
SoundCloud.
are going to close down, and I was kind of happy.
I know. I was excited about that too.
But yeah, that's kind of mean.
Well, whatever. Sorry. I mean, but like, I don't listen to rap music, and I feel maybe it's just stereotypical, but I feel like most of it's rap music on SoundCloud. I could be wrong, but I mean, the whole Pete My SoundCloud thing, right? Isn't that just like all rap?
Yeah,
music?
that is the thing. It's more of a,
Yeah.
it's probably more
There's
of a
got to
rap.
be a hearty electronic.
Yeah.
Oh,
thing
yeah,
there,
yeah,
too,
yeah, for sure.
Definitely electronic music. I mean, it makes sense if you're just putting out singles and remixes and stuff. You don't want to put out an album. Whereas Bandcamp is more geared towards the EPs and albums, I feel like, than it is just
Yeah,
singles.
you got to have your music on Bandcamp, I think.
Yeah, I do too. I totally
It's
think
the easiest.
I think I at this point though, I'm so spoiled that like, there's certain bands who I want on the podcast or their music's only on Bandcamp, and I'm like, get the fuck together. Come on, get on Spotify. Like that's all I use it now.
Spotify helps.
Spotify's wonderful.
You'll look at it and it's like you have this many monthly listeners and this many people listen. I'm like, who are these people?
I know.
They're not coming to our shows. I know that.
Same.
But they're listening.
Yeah, I love Spotify and I love the app and I use it all day, every day. And like, I'm so fucking privileged that it's like, oh, I have to go to a different app. God damn it. And
yeah,
I-
that
it's-
is pretty stupid.
It's ridiculously stupid, but I'm just so comfortable with Spotify. I love it. But at the same time, the only reason our music is on there is because when we make CDs, they just put it on there for us. So it's like,
Oh, right.
we're not going through anybody else. Like they're
Yeah.
doing it all the lead work. So I literally have nothing to complain about. So let's talk gear. Where are you guys standing? Are you guys big gear heads? Where are you standing gear wise?
I don't know if we're gearheads. The way that I've explained how I've done the guitar pedals, because I do have a full like guitar pedal setup. is I'll buy one and then I'm like, this song sounds great with this specific setting on this, and then I want to do a different song with a different setting, and then I'll get a different pedal and I'll be like, this pedal's for that song, and then I sort of just, I don't know gear well enough or put in the effort to figure it out, or like want to take the time to change my settings, so I'll just have like 7 pedals and kind of just
one for each song.
Yeah, not really, but I'll kind of just, some of them really are only used in one song. So I'm not a big gearhead. I like a lot of delay and like reverse effects. I overuse like the super shifter pedal. I don't know if you've ever used one of those where
I don't know. I don't really know pedals too well. I'm
it's,
like, I need to know more than I do. That's why
it
I'm
just
asking.
like shifts it up an octave. You know, like
Gotcha.
Either you could do it slow or fast, and I overuse that probably, but it's too much fun. Our other guitarist, he's a little different than me. Like he's really into his gear, and he does finger tapping and stuff.
Both of them.
There's going to be a lot more of that.
The other 2 people are way more big.
Oh, and I guess our drummer, yeah.
Than
But I
either
mean,
of us.
I don't like. I can't even tell you what kind of drum set he has. That's how horrible I am at gear.
I don't know how.
I know like the guitar
don't
amps
either.
we use. Like I use a Roland JC120, which I've actually seen around more. I saw the Expos using it, and Proteins uses it. I thought it was like this unique thing that no one else used, and I like traded in this. I had this Marshall JCM series bass head, which is this really weird, rare thing, and I traded that for this Roland amp that I'm using.
When we started, I had a Seymour Duncan bass cab, which was
I
weird.
didn't know that was a thing.
Exactly. Neither did I. I guess it was from the mid '80s, and they stopped making them shortly after that.
That's kind of awesome.
I had it for a little while, and then I fucking destroyed it. I screwed plastic wheels to the bottom, or maybe there were already some on the bottom, and it did not take long before it just rattled everything out of existence and just tore it apart. And I didn't know exactly what I was doing yet. And then I learned, rubber wheels, or that's the way to go. So I went through a couple cabs before I learned that, and now I'm good. Now I've got like a little dolly.
You can curse with this if you pick a bass cab, for example, that has 2 15-inch speakers and is like 4.5 feet tall, and you have to drag all over creation. You can really curse yourself with that. And I've been with that thing since 2005, and it is such a pain.
I like it.
But it sounds good.
It's
want
better
one of those,
than 810s.
Yeah,
I want one of those giant Ampeg ones that have the wheels in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
pretty
what
much
I
it's
want.
pretty much that, but it just has 2 15s
only
instead of
2
8 10s.
Yeah, I like those, but I also don't want to carry
You don't
them
want to
around.
drag that around. Oh man! And he has one like that. Actually, it's taller and more like what you're saying, but there's no wheels on it. So it's like, okay, that's never moving again.
SWR 810. And
It's
there's
never
no
going to move
wheels.
again.
It's just, it stays in my kitchen.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, man. I went from being a drummer, because I grew up a drummer, and I played for drums and bands. I lived in Ohio, and I played drums for bands in Ohio, and I was in, I don't know what you call it, whatever As I Lay Dying is. I played that kind of music.
Dude, the story you told about the talent show, I love that, and I wish you could like summarize it for Ryan without
I can
like
summarize it for him
duplicating
really
it
quick.
too much from your previous.
Yeah, I don't know how many return listeners I have.
Yeah.
So that's the nice thing about this is like I do it with a band, and the band shows their audience, and hopefully I get new people every time. That's the idea. So
Yeah.
basically, I started playing drums seriously out of spite. Like I got into playing music for real out of just out of constantly like wanting to be better than this other person that sucked.
This story's for you. I've heard it before.
Yeah, fucking, I'm talking to you.
Did
I'm just fucking with you, dude. I'm just fucking with you. Anyway, I got into playing music out of spite because I didn't hate him. He was a nice guy, but it was junior high talent show. I was like 6th or 7th grade, and this kid was super Mr. Popular, and I wasn't, and he played drums, and everybody thought he was the greatest because he could do fast drum fills that were really sloppy, and he was hitting rims and whatever. But in 6th, 7th grade, everyone thought this guy was awesome, and he was great and whatever. So I was like, fuck that, I'm way better than that guy, and I just played drums kind of on the whim. So I got my shit together hard, and I really got into playing drums, and I showed up and just destroyed him at the talent show. And I remember like I came back into class, and everybody like gave me all this positive attention, and I was like, this is the best thing ever. And there's like one person talking to him in the corner, and I was like, fuck you, I beat you, I won. And that's how I got into music. Just like,
It's a really good opening story for getting into music.
If
Yeah,
you ever
that's
want
what
to
it
try out for Celebration Guns,
Well, you don't play drums so often anymore.
I don't play
do you?
anymore. No,
Yeah.
I wish every time I go to
I feel like
Guitar
that
Center-
level of dedication is necessary, though.
Yeah, I mean that got me into playing, and it was wonderful. And that's how, like, before I played drums, my parents would make me play sports, and I sucked at sports. And luckily they left me alone and like, okay, you don't have to play. You don't have. It got to a point where I hated basketball so much, and I hated playing basketball so much that I was in gymnastics for a fucking season, like jumping off of springboards into ball pits because I just couldn't do sports. And then luckily, thank God, I found music, and my parents were like, okay, it's cool, just let him do this. It's
that
cool.
actually sounds very familiar. I played basketball and I wasn't good at it. And the way I exited basketball is I was on this team with all these kids who didn't like me because I was just kind of like the goof off.
No
like in
way.
high school, I'd be the guy in PA who would just like drop kick the basketball across the gym in the middle of the game. And they'd be like, where? And that's kind of how this team was. They're like, where? Come on. So I'm playing, and the coach's wife is in the stands near my mom. And she starts going like, Justin, move your ass. Come on. What are you doing? And like yelling at me. And I'm like flipping my arms up at her. I'm like, give me a break.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, nope. So she came out. She's like, you want to leave? I'm like, yep. So we left in the middle of the game, and I never played sports again. And then soon after, I was playing music.
There you go.
So
yeah.
I
What
understand.
boggles my mind is that your mom, instead of confronting her, was like, hey, would you just like to leave?
Well, I don't know. Like she knew I didn't want to be there. But yeah, I mean, she could have beat her up, I guess.
The
Or
scary.
just tell her to shut up, you know?
She might have. It's possible. I just remember how cool it was being able to just leave.
Yeah, the scariest thing to me is that I played basketball for at least 3 seasons, and I don't remember any of it. Like, that's a lot of days of my life, and I have no idea
It's
what
all
happened.
gone.
It's
Yeah.
all. I remember passing the ball to the wrong team once, and then
I've
the
done
other
that.
and the other team member looking at me like, "Oh shit, thanks, man," and like running, and then I realized that I was being a doofus. I basically spent the whole time just like, "Oh, everyone's running this way. I'm just gonna kind of walk behind them," and they're going. Okay, I'm gonna walk that way too, and that was basically
Yeah,
it.
that
That's all I
sounds
did.
very familiar.
Yeah.
That's my life too. So I think we relate.
Or
on
I
that.
was in the outfield in T-ball. That's how bad I sucked. In T-ball, they put me in the outfield.
How often does the T-ball get out the outfield?
None.
Really?
0 times. 0 times.
That's awesome.
So yeah. So anyway, let's see. Okay, do you guys have any favorite local bands from past or present?
I heard you asking Human Kitten. That's the name, right?
Mm-hmm.
I heard you asking today, and I was thinking, what would I say? And what I can say is, I mean, not to tie it into necessarily promotion for something I'm doing, but
Do it.
I'm doing a new label called Lumberjerk Records.
Got it.
Because
Is that a reference to the beard?
Probably.
Yeah.
My friend just called me a lumberjerk one time.
Oh,
his
gotcha.
attire, his general style.
Yeah,
like
and I
that.
guess the plaid shirts. Is this plaid? No, it's not.
No.
It's not plaid. But yeah, that whole thing. And so
Polka dots?
I wanted to use that name like 6 years ago, but instead I did St. Joseph because me and my friend Josh were like, well, a lot of people in Arizona were born at St. Joseph Hospital, so it has
you
a
go.
meaning. But instead people just be like, are you a charity label? Because we did a tape for charity. So people would come and be like, hey, man, what charity can we do our release through? I'm like, well, I mean, that was just like, I just did that one time. But St. Joseph sounds like that.
Yeah.
And the aesthetic, like we tried to do artwork for it, and it just didn't feel fun. It just felt weird. So Lumberjerk seems more like me. So to start things off, I'm doing a compilation, and there's 12 total local bands on it. So
That's awesome.
there's definitely some on there. All of them on there, ones I really like. Twin Ponies is one of them. Citrus Clouds, Dent, and Instructions, Sun System. They're kind of a newer band that
I've heard of Sun System.
we've been digging.
Dent has been around for a minute, right?
They've been around for a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Holy Fawn's on there.
Holy Font's wonderful,
They're
and I
really
want to
cool.
talk to them too.
Oh yeah, you should. They're really cool.
I've never met them
I like
before
those
though,
guys.
so I like their music a lot.
Yeah. Their newest single. If I don't know if you follow them, but they
I do.
put one out, and it's like this
Yeah.
7-minute like super weird
Yeah, it's epic.
video. Yeah, that's the closer
Yeah. Oh,
for
really?
for the comp. Yeah.
Nice. Perfect.
So I think it's gonna be awesome, and we're releasing it like Friday, November 3rd at Rebel Lounge.
Hell yeah.
And of course, Celebration Guns has a song on there.
How many bands are playing at the actual show?
4. So it's us and Holy Fawn and Instructions and the Lonesome Wilderness.
Oh, okay. So Lonesome Wilderness, we had a chance to play with, and then we couldn't make the show. I've always missed
Oh.
out. Like we almost played with them at Yucatap once, and I've always I don't know them at all. I've never heard their music, but I've almost played with them a couple times.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. I could see you guys fitting on a show
Yeah.
with them. Yeah, so I'm excited about it, and it is going to be for charity. And part of that, I mean, I can honestly say like part of it is because I really do have like a heart for other people. I'm not just like a soulless human
Yes,
being.
got it.
But it's also like, well, I want people to know about this, and I don't really care about trying to make a bunch of money off of people. Like I just want them to know that this is like a thing I'm working on. So maybe they'll feel better checking it out if they're helping someone else. So it's also self-serving in a way, but the charity that we're
most
doing,
charity is at least a little bit
in a
self-serving.
way, like especially when everyone's donating like right at the end of the year, like to balance out their taxes.
Yeah, or when people make it public that they just donated.
Yeah,
somewhere.
that too.
I saw one lady once who. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
No.
I saw this. I was driving and I saw a lady with a license plate that said "I donor." It's like, good for you.
Congratulations.
Good for you.
Maybe she meant her organs and she has a death wish.
Yeah,
that might be part of it too.
Some half-blind guy and driving it with a silver alert over him is fucking just gonna slay. That's the thing about being a donor, though, is every single time I think about organ donors, there's an old George Carlin bit that rings in my head of like, you don't be an organ donor because if you're in an accident, you think they're gonna try to fucking save your life. Hell no, they're looking for parts. I always think about that, like.
Kid in a candy store.
Yeah. So I looked up lumberjack on Google, and Urban Dictionary pulled up the cashier who overcharges you at Home Depot, a.k.a. Wood Scrooge.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm going to have to use that somehow.
So
you should do it
inappropriately specific.
Wow. I love it. I like Wood Scrooge, too. You should do like a subsidiary label.
I wasn't expecting that. But it's pretty new. You might be able to find it on Facebook.
There's one for everything. Dude, Phantom Party on Urban Dictionary was like, it's like a dark sex orgy where no one knows who they're fucking or something like that. And I was like, oh no.
I didn't know that was an Urban Dictionary thing.
Yeah, so apparently that's...
I would much rather sell overpriced wood than that other thing.
Let's see, Urban Dictionary. Let's see if I can even type. Let's see if it's even still on there anymore. They've got like definitions of everything. Okay, so get together made by Scott Kirby. It involves going to an unknown place with unknown people and unknown beverages. If in fact you end up in the dam with no clue. Yeah, this is a wrong sentence. I'm not reading it. All right, so
you couldn't do it.
Can't do it. So what are you guys' favorite spots to play in town?
Oh man, I actually really do like playing at Rebel Lounge, and we haven't really played there much this year. So that's going to be cool that the release ended up there. We used to really like Yucca. Haven't played there in a while.
I've never played. I played one awfully embarrassing acoustic show there once, and that was it.
We might be not punk enough or ska enough to play there.
Yeah,
I don't really know for sure how that goes.
Maybe not something enough.
Yeah.
Definitely not something enough.
I mean, Crescent, we got to do our release there for the EP, and that went really well. But the thing is like I wouldn't try to play there all the time because I want to be able to actually get people to show up there and
totally
not look like an idiot. So we just played Valley Bar. It's a really fun place to just be. There's something about the vibe there, like you could just kind of hang out down there, like you're like away from the rest of the world.
Yeah. The two venues I haven't played that I want to are Crescent and Valley.
Yeah,
I haven't played.
I don't see why you guys haven't. You should.
I don't know. Valley is one we definitely. I mean, Crescent, like I understand it's a pretty big room, but like we definitely never played. We haven't even played Valley Bar. I don't know why. I think it just never happened for whatever reason.
Do you have any interest in it? Because I can tell you.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll tell you someone you can email.
Well, hook me up.
Yeah.
I want to do it. I want to get it done. So Crescent. Yeah, I saw. So my favorite local. It's hard to say my favorite, but one of my top 3 favorite local bands is a band called American Longspurs, and they're like an Americana alt country band.
Yeah,
they're absolutely wonderful. And I saw them at Crescent with the singer of Jared and the Mill. Played a set, and a couple other cool alt country bands played. And that was the first and only time I've been there, and it's amazing.
You've only been there once?
Yeah, I've only been there once.
Wow.
I'm going back soon because Dan Andriano is opening up for Say Anything while Say Anything plays. I'm going for that shit because Dan Andriano's got my heart and soul, man.
Yeah.
So I love Alkaline.
Is he the one that was in Tuesday?
Yep.
Yeah, I really liked Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, yeah, because you were into like the ska stuff, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, but like Tuesday was kind of more
emo.
pop punk emo.
Yeah.
But then was he also in Slapstick?
He was also in Slapstick. There you go.
Yeah, we both really like Slapstick.
That's why I was getting confused.
Yeah, we're definitely ska kids.
I really
at heart.
like Tuesday too.
Tuesday was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I love him. I love Matt too. I love Alkaline Trio is one of my big loves. I love that music so much.
You like Skiba 182? You feeling it?
I hate it. I fucking hate
not
the new
working
Blink
out?
record. I hate the new Blink record. I think it's garbage. The only thing I feel.
To be fair, they've been garbage for quite a while.
No, I understand that, but at the same time, this feels like a deeper low. It feels like a more significant low to me. It just because there's no
you gotta get paid,
no
man.
life in it.
Yeah, they earn that. They earn the right to make money off their record sales.
Yeah, I guess. Sure.
Enema of the State was
My favorite
really
record.
hugely
Dude,
influential
there's
That's my
for
so
me.
favorite.
much
I have
trash.
to say that.
There is so much trash.
But there's some stuff
But
after
there are
that.
also like many years of legitimate shit.
The
that,
full
like,
length with that song from with Robert Smith in it. That song is so
Self-titled.
good. I love that
Yeah.
track.
There's so much good stuff.
Take off your pants and jacket.
I
like
make
that one.
all of your money.
Enema of the
Just go ahead.
State is my big favorite. That's
Yeah,
my number
I
one.
think so too. Actually.
Yeah. Over everything else, that's my number one. And I think that's the album that I got into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
More than
is.
Cheshire?
Oh yeah.
There's just
Way more
something
than
about it.
Okay, but here's
it's
okay.
just got this good flow to
Keep
it.
in mind, and I hate saying stuff like this because I know you guys are a little bit older than me. When Enema of the State came out, I was in kindergarten.
No.
So that's when I got into them.
That makes me so mad.
That's why I didn't want to say it, but I needed to make
Now
that
I
point.
understand.
Like that's why I got into them
Yeah.
when I did because I was super fucking.
You got
young.
into them in kindergarten?
Yeah, for the most part, my babysitter had the CD and I stole
you
it
did
from her.
say something like that
Yeah.
that I found hard to
I
believe.
wish I could
that
be
you
into
got into
music in
music when you were like
kindergarten.
6 or 7, right?
Always, yeah, 6 or 7.
That's
I was
nuts.
into Bowling for Soup, Sum 41.
That's just so
That's
crazy.
why
I can't imagine that.
That's why my girlfriend, like my girlfriend is 20 is 20. Okay,
Older?
here's the thing.
Younger?
My girlfriend's 20.
Younger.
And I'm yeah. So she's younger. So here's the thing. She's 20, but the age difference feels even bigger because I was into music younger than most people were. So it's like, how do you not remember this? And she's like, how do you fucking remember that?
I
You
get
know
what
I
you're
mean?
saying. Like
Yeah.
someone younger but who's been around older people or been participating
Yeah,
in older people's
exactly.
stuff. You're just going to feel older.
Yeah. So I love I was really into pop punk, Bowling for Soup and Sum 41, all that stuff. I loved it.
I
But,
thought you were older.
Yeah.
Is it worth telling that part of our story, or is that
What? Go ahead. What?
does that annoy you?
do you
How
mean?
we like first started communicating?
Yeah. No, it doesn't annoy me at all. I don't get annoyed by
So
stuff.
first of all,
I'm super laid back.
Are we the first band that basically requested to be on this podcast?
No, there's been a
Who'd
band
you
who's
turn down?
I'm not gonna tell you
I'm just kidding.
right now. But there's been a couple bands who've asked
Yeah.
me to come on who I've like not gotten back to or whatever just because I'm not into their music and I don't like pretending that all fairness to them, I'm sure they're all great people, but I don't want to pretend that I like your music because I'm doing this for free.
It's fair.
You know what
so
I mean?
it makes you feel better that we weren't the only ones. But so basically,
I didn't turn you down, okay?
that's true. You didn't. I meant we weren't the only ones who reached out to be on it. So I heard about it through Oliver from Soft Deadlines, and which I started with Soft Deadlines with Oliver.
Really?
And he
Interesting.
mentioned me in the interview, but he didn't say my name. But he mentioned me as like the bassist who is just kind of like, you guys aren't up to par. I'm out of here.
Oh, got it.
Which,
Okay.
like, I mean, I can be a jerk like that, but I
Classic.
can honestly say, like, I saw them a few weeks back, and they've gotten so much better. Like, the drummer they have now is just like
Their
intense.
music has changed a lot from album to album.
Yeah, they've changed a lot. But from the very beginning, it was rough, and then really what happened is Celebration Gun started taking off like 6 months after Soft Deadline started, and I was like, this is my thing. Like, I want to focus on it. But that's how I heard about the podcast, and I started listening to it. And then I looked at the picture you have on your podcast, and your name was Matt. And there's a guy I knew named Matt, although this was like 10 or 15 years ago. And I only talked to him mostly in AOL Instant Messenger. Then we see each other at a show and be like, yeah, let's talk on Instant Messenger. Like, like that happens with some people. Like, you connect better, like, online.
Uh-huh.
So we weren't close in real life or anything. But when I saw your picture, I thought it was this other Matt that I knew from like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So I hit you up and I said something like, yo, we could talk about old times. It's going to be awesome. And you were like, yeah, man, that sounds great. And you just went along with it.
Because I don't know. I mean, I'm just like chilling.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
super laid back. Like, hell yeah.
Which
man.
is really nice of you not to make me feel bad or like call me out and be like, so what exactly
No,
are
no,
you
no.
saying?
That was, I think that was more me just being like, oh, this guy is just wacky.
Yeah,
Like, he's just how he communicates. He's a cool, wacky, fun guy.
I maybe I'm that too. I hope so. But yeah, you're not him. And then it was a certain amount of episodes that you kind of started like referencing your age, and I was like, that I don't know if that's him.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I haven't seen him in person in 10 or 15 years when he was like your age. So it's sort of just like it was frozen in time. The guy who kind of looks like the other.
Yeah,
Matt.
I got it.
So then I felt embarrassed, and I had to explain to you. But then it's one of those things where it's like, well, if I tell him that I only asked to be on because I thought it was someone else, then that just seems like weird too. But I had to tell you because I'm like, I don't want him to think I'm just some fake idiot who's like, yeah, we go way back, man. That was kind of a weird start to it, and I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I thought it
just
was
felt like an
hilarious.
idiot.
No, I think that stuff's super funny.
Yeah.
I'm really laid back. Almost all the people I look up to are stand-up comedians. So like, I have a very low bullshit kind of think everything is hilarious, take most things as a joke kind of person. It's almost impossible to offend me. Like I have a very dark sense of humor too, very blue. So like I'm pretty laid back. You can pretty much say anything, talk about anything. I don't care. So
Mortuary science.
Mortuary. Yeah, we can talk about some more. I have a book up there called Stiff. We can talk about mortuary science. I got shit for days. Yeah, I got a whole little dark, creepy shelf over there we can delve into.
I have to check that out.
Yeah,
it does look a little sinister from here. Now that I'm looking at it.
So I've got the centerpiece is a dog skull. It's a real dog, domestic
dog.
That
makes me sad because dogs should never die.
I agree. Dogs should never die.
That's too sad.
But when they do, you can celebrate the life that they had. We bought that. He bought that for me. For him and my girlfriend bought that for me for my birthday from Curious Nature in Phoenix, which is like an oddity shop
Curious
that I love.
Nature.
Have you ever heard of it before?
No, but now I want to go.
Curious Nature is all bone. Oh, and Dylan's jumping on the mic.
It is literally the coolest place I've ever fucking been because it's nothing but animal bones
and wet specimens in jars and animals in jars.
Oh, it's
and stuff.
fantastic.
It's
I was
awesome.
thoroughly creeped out when I went in there, but was super happy when I left.
I feel scared and I feel sad thinking
It's cool.
about it.
Well,
Thinking about animal bones.
It is super awesome. It is amazing to go to.
I like it. But here's the thing is I'm a bit of a weirdo, so like I like the bones, and I've got like a squid in a jar over there, and I've got a big cow. My girlfriend's a weirdo too. She for Valentine's Day, she bought me an actual heart in a jar, like a cow heart in a jar for Valentine's Day.
Or like a second cousin's
So
heart.
there's the squid. My second cousin. Yeah, it's a Dylan's bringing a little squid.
Little guy.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll stop with the weirdo shelf, but that's I don't know. I like weird. I
remember you saying
shit.
you like horror movies and stuff, and you're
That's my
talking about
big love.
Tusk, and I was like, yes,
Love it.
Also,
Love
another
it.
Kevin Smith movie that was amazing was Red
State.
Yes.
Absolutely. I knew anyone
Yeah.
who talks about Tusk is immediately going to go into Red State.
Yeah, Red
Love
State. But then I was watching Kevin Smith back when he was doing I actually really like Dogma.
I love Dogma.
Yeah, Dogma's great.
I know everything about.
I
Kevin
think
Smith.
I like that. I think I like that more than Mallrats or Chasing Amy.
I
kind
like
of.
it more than Mallrats, but Chasing Amy is my number one.
Yeah.
I like Chasing Amy a lot. I mean, yeah.
And then Geely's your number 1.5.
we don't talk about Geely.
Okay.
I actually really like Jersey Girl. I hate how much shit he talks about Jersey Girl because I really
Wait,
like
is
Jersey
Geely
Girl.
the one did he do Geely?
No, Geely's the one that he always makes fun of Ben Affleck for making.
Oh, but he did Jersey Girl.
He did Jersey Girl.
And I always confuse them.
Yeah.
Are they pretty similar?
Geely, I don't know.
Is
remember.
J-Lo in both of them?
Yes.
Well, that's
But
something.
J-Lo's only in Jersey Girl for the first 15 minutes.
Oh, and then she
dies. Spoilers.
Spoiler. Oh my God.
The movie came out in
Someone's just like
2002.
sadly pausing Jersey Girl right now.
yeah, but it came out in the early 2000s, and everyone's like, "You fuck! I was waiting for those on my queue." Yeah, I love Kevin Smith, man. I love his
I'm a
movies.
fan.
I watched Clerks when I was way too young to understand it. I was like 11 years old. I saw IFC or Fuse played it late night when Clerks 2 was about to come out. See, that's the thing. I got into Kevin Smith when Clerks 2 came out.
Clerks 2.
I love Clerks 2. You don't like Clerks 2?
I'll give it another try.
Come
But
on,
back
what's wrong with Clerks
then I
2?
couldn't. I was probably being one of those idiots who's like, it's not like the original. Like, you know,
I like Clerks.
some
Okay,
jerk.
my thing with Clerks 2 is, first of all, like I said earlier, that's how I got into it. So like, there's always that. I didn't watch the original and then like be sitting on my love for it for years. I got it. I watched it right when I watched Clerks 2, and I was like 11 or 12 years old. So no, that doesn't add up. I don't remember how old I was when Clerks 2 came out. So anyway,
Oh no, someone's fighting outside.
someone fighting outside.
Oh, they got flashlights. They throwing punches.
Wait, I gotta see this shit.
Oh, he's going to have to watch the fight. Someone got a flashlight. They're talking loudly. They're not actually fighting. They just talk loudly.
All right, fucking.
The other
Living
people
in an
out there,
apartment
which
complex.
Ryan just went outside. He's just outside, like smoking.
He's cool.
Like
He's all
I'm
right.
not in the bed.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, fuck that kid. So
Well,
we're talking.
just tell him we felt very threatened.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't
And to
appreciate
keep it
his
down
tone.
a little bit.
Yeah, I love the original Clerks, but I saw it when I was way too young to understand it. I remember watching it and being like, I like this. I like the way they're talking and the way that they're interacting, but I don't have any frame of reference for anything that they're talking about. And then I got older, and that was one of those movies that, like, it wasn't one of those things where one day it clicked because I continually watched it. So every single time I watched it, I was slightly older, and I got more and more and more of it until eventually it was one big.
And then one day it clerked.
Yeah, one day it clerked.
It was necessary for me
It
to
was.
put
I
that out there.
I appreciated that. I really like Clerks 2. I feel like Clerks 2 was like he went and made a bunch of other movies, found out how to actually make a movie, And well, some people would maybe disagree with that, but he learned how to make a good movie, and then he put that into Clerks 2, and I thought it had a lot of heart and fun, and a donkey show, and it was a good time.
Man, I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Hate it.
It was fun.
Fucking
I laughed.
hate that
Wow.
movie.
So, you know, we've kind of seen eye to eye on a lot of stuff except for Kevin Smith.
Yeah, well, okay. I liked Jay and Silent Bob when I saw it as a kid, but I tried to rewatch it recently, and it was a tough
no, you
sit.
shouldn't do that.
That's why
I
I'm
haven't
saying
watched it in years.
It's a really just remember it for being good, and like it's a really tough
Stick with
sit.
that.
I love it though. I think Jay's great. I listen to all their podcasts. Like I love.
I need to do that.
Love that guy. He started to do a little bit too many, but I followed most of them. But now it's mainly just the Rogan camp that I'm listening to now because I don't have the time to sit and listen to podcasts all the time anymore. Too busy making them, man.
There
Doing
you go.
it.
I'm glad that you're back at it.
Yeah, me too. I enjoy it. I like hanging out with people and talking to people and stuff, and it's whatever. So I'm trying to think if there's anything. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Because I know like you have a lot of more insight into my life than I knew that you had. So if you have anything else you want to talk about, let's talk.
I didn't. I feel weird bringing it up, but
No,
I
don't.
heard you talking about Shameless today.
Oh, I love Shameless.
And I'm not necessarily trying to be self-serving, but I was just like, I got to tell him this if he's like all into watching it.
Okay.
We have a song on one of the episodes.
What?
In
What?
season 7.
What the fuck?
Do you know when Carl goes
Whoa,
off?
hold on. I'm not caught up.
Carl goes and he just does something wacky like he always does.
Okay, classic Carl.
Yeah. So you're not in 7. I
Okay.
swear you said you were like almost finished
I'm
or something.
almost caught up because
Okay.
7 is the one that just finished, right? Because they're almost about to release 8.
Yeah.
Okay, I am not there yet. I'm finishing 6.
It's episodes. Oh, you're in 6.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm almost done with 6.
So
Maybe I'm in 7.
I think it's episode 6 in season
Okay,
7.
I'll keep it-
And it's
I'll-
like at the very end of the episode.
Okay.
But I don't want to say the thing because maybe it'll spoil something, I guess, of what happens.
Just tell me what happens.
It's not very
I
spoiling.
remember it. Yeah, tell me.
Carl goes to military school.
Okay, got
And
it.
he's just getting on a bus. And
It's more of a plot arc than a spoiler. I can kind
yeah,
of see.
yeah, it's not that spoiler.
Yeah.
But I just thought I'd mention it because you said you were like seemed like you're really into it.
Yeah,
and
I am.
we were really excited about that.
That's
So
awesome.
I
Dude, that's
figured-
super cool.
Yeah.
So you guys
appreciate
like
that.
buying tour buses now with that money?
Oh
or-
yeah. Well, we're putting out an album.
There you go.
That's something.
Dude, that is so fucking cool. I got
Yeah.
so my girlfriend's really into it. I missed an episode here or there, but I watched most of them. I really loved that show. I'm not a big TV watcher, so just because I don't have the time anymore, like I know all the TV shows and movies up until like 2015, and then I'm out because that was when I started to get really busy and I moved out and I started being all crazy all the time. So, but that show got me here. I love it. I still watch it a lot. So. I just
Yeah.
like the dark. It's really dark and fucked up and crazy.
Yeah, I haven't gotten that far into it at all.
Yeah, I really
I was
enjoy
excited
it.
about it when it happened because I just knew that it was
It's a big deal. It's an
Cool
It's not HBO. What is it? Showtime.
Showtime.
Showtime. Yeah. Yeah. That's super cool.
But then
Someone
we
just hit
had-
you up. How did that happen?
Well, what happened is there are some companies out there obviously that do that kind of stuff. We didn't know what to do, but someone Snakes actually had gone through this place and they had a song on Vampire Diaries and they
Nice.
made like 3 times as much as we did.
That's wonderful.
From Shameless.
Snakes. Are they still a thing? What's
I
happening
have
with them?
no idea, to be honest.
Why you
but
should know this.
They're cool.
Damn it.
And they had a song on there and that did well. And I was like, how'd you guys do that? And they gave me this website. And I went on there and the first thing it said was, we're not accepting new submissions, but go ahead and submit. Which is always very confusing. Like,
Yeah.
that's not fair to a band. You're like, I'm going to submit this right now.
Yeah.
You told me I could do it. I wasn't expecting to hear back. And then they're like, yeah, we'll do this. It was the Me That Used to Be.
That's
EP.
awesome.
So they used those songs. And
Which song?
they used all 5 songs. Basically, what ended up happening is the Me That Used to Be, like the closing slower song, is on Shameless. And then Teen Mom used a bunch of clips from us.
Nice. What the fuck? A bunch of people use you guys. That's right.
Yeah, we were more excited about Shameless than Teen
Of
Mom.
course, but yeah.
it was still cool. So that's one thing that's helped us. Just be able to afford stuff is
That's awesome.
So I mean, like that's the thing. Like, not that we're any sort of huge examples of anything, but if you're a band because we've had some people ask like how that happened, and it's like you just got to spend time searching for things and hitting people up. That's the most annoying thing about getting any sort of opportunities, which we don't do well enough. Like, we could probably do more, but we don't do enough of this. But you have to bug people. You got to find a tactful way to do it, but you have to put yourself out there and send the email and just try, because a lot of times we'll stop ourselves and be like, oh, we can't get on that show, or we can't do this, we can't do that. But I mean, then you try one day and you actually get something you weren't expecting. So just try it, looking for stuff. I mean, seeing what publishing companies are out there, and it might be really easy to submit. And then in our case, they don't charge you to do it. They're just like, well, we'll take a percentage if the songs get placed.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's like so ideal for a band to not have to pay anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that information from you in this.
Sure, yeah, I'll give it to you. I mean, go ahead and submit. I have no idea where they're at with taking music or what they're doing.
We'll see what happens.
They've worked with March, you know that band?
Yeah,
Bougainvillea.
I don't know that one.
Gospel Clause is an older band.
I remember.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I remember.
They've
them.
done songs with them. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool. I'm definitely gonna do that then. Thank you. Yeah, like that's super super crazy. I hopefully I can get together something like that. Shows. Any upcoming shows? Any dates? Plug.
Here comes the plug.
Let's do it.
Here comes the boo. We are playing November 3rd, and again, it's Lumberjerk Records. If you're interested, look it up on Facebook. We're kind of posting songs of different bands that are going to be on there. There's 12 total, all Arizona bands. And then Celebration Guns is releasing our next single from the album, our second single, basically in line with this compilation release. And we'll probably have like a video for it out soon. So we have a single coming out really soon, which is pretty exciting. The first single we released way back in May, so we're kind of slow going at it, and we're going to start pushing it a little more as we're getting closer to mixing and everything for this full length. We're gonna put it on a vinyl and do the whole spiel. Whether people want it or not, we want to make it. So hopefully,
nice. There you
go. So we're excited about that. But yeah, November 3rd at Rebel Lounge. That's our next show, and then we're playing the Phoenix Pizza Festival
hey,
on November 18th, Margaret T. Hands Park or whatever that's called. And then Sun System. I would recommend checking them out. And they have a release show December 1st at Last Exit Live.
I love Last Exit. Dude, I really like Last Exit Live.
The sound is really good there.
It's ridiculously
The location
good.
Seems tough to make work to get people to come out to.
It's fucking rough.
Kind of like the Rogue.
I agree. Rogue is also a very rough
tough.
spot for. And what's even more rough is the fucking parking lot. Come on.
Yeah. For both, really.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. Last Exit, I really like that place.
They beefed it up a little.
Yeah, we played there, and no one ever, all anyone ever did was talk shit about them. Oh, location sucks, this sucks, whatever. I played there and had a wonderful time. We played a great time.
I mean, last show we played there was this band, the Edison's release show, and it was actually pretty sweet. Like we had a good time.
All right, well that's it for me. In case your boy wants to yell in some last words, I think that's about it. Are they even there anymore?
My boy, you want to yell in some last words? He was said, no.
All right, well, peace out. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you. It's been fun.
This is so much fun. Thank you so much. So happy we can finally orchestrate this. Obviously, come on again whenever you guys have got some stuff to plug and hang out, or if you just want to, if you're bored and lonely, hit me up and we can have some verbal hugs. We can just kind of get to know each other and hang out.
Yeah,
and have a good time.
Ryan does live like 500 feet from you.
Yeah, there you
which
go.
we didn't even know. And we just walked over here tonight.
That's
which was
perfect.
Fun.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm right here, man. So I mean, at least for the next few months, I'll be here. So hit me up. I will see you again soon. Thank you guys so much for listening. As ever, thank you so much, so much, so much. I love you all. Bye.
Hey, the episode's over. You made it all the way to the end. Hi. I don't know why I'm still talking. I recorded the introduction, and I just wanted to keep talking. So here we are. It's my show. You do what the fuck I want. And I'm certain that no one is listening to this part. So if you made it to this part, let me know, and I'll give you a high five. I just wanted to say thank you for everybody who listens. I mean, because here's the thing. If you made it all the way to the end of this episode, chances are you liked something about it, or you're just a masochistic, crazy psychopath, and you just wanted to hurt yourself as much as possible. But I don't think that I don't think that that's true. I think that would be rude. Podcasts are fucking weird, and it's a really hard thing for people to get into, unless you already have like a predisposition towards enjoying podcasts. It's kind of a weird thing to get into. So if you're into this and you like this, that's really fucking awesome, and I think that you deserve a special thank you, because it's not every day, man. Like I listen to podcasts constantly, and I'm always seeing the amount of downloads, the amount of like people who watch the YouTube videos. And there's hundreds of thousands of them on a lot of the ones that I'm watching. Fucking millions when you talk about like Joe Rogan and all that kind of stuff. I don't know where the fuck they are. I've met like 2 of them ever. So the fact that I have anybody at all listening to this really means the absolute world to me. Thank you so much. I've got some awesome stuff coming up for you. The next episode that I'm going to be posting is It's going to be great. I have a good feeling about it. I don't want to jinx myself, but I think it's going to be fun, as will all of the ones that will come afterwards. I hope that I never let you guys down. I love you very much. This is the actual end. Thank you.